Good afternoon, everybody. Today is another different video, different from our regular content. I had the opportunity to interview Stan from Sfilinam. I'm not sure if I'm saying that quite right. But I hope you enjoy that video. There's also an interview. He interviewed me first, so that'll be on his channel. You can go over there and look at that. We'll drop a link down in the description down below here for his channel. I think he told me he's going to translate it because we did it in English. He speaks English as well. He is going to translate that to Russian, so it may be, I believe, a week or so before it'll be on his channel. But just stay tuned for that. You can periodically go over there and have a look, and I mean, there's lots of other great content there as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Get into that video. We're with Stan here, and I wanted you to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, who you are, how we even came about having this conversation.
Well, how we came about having this conversation is an interesting little story. But so yeah, my name is Stan. I have my own channels on YouTube, and I was born in Russia. I was born in the USSR, actually. I was born in Moscow, and then for a majority of my life, I was living in Europe, in the US, and in Canada, where I went to school, I studied, I worked. I have my bachelor's from an American university in business administration, in business management, and I have my MBA as well from European University. I have a family. I'm a father. I have 2 dogs. For now, I only have 1 child, but that's for now. I like to engage in lots of sporting activities. I like to play football, not soccer for anyone watching in North America, strike ball or airsoft, boxing, things like that. Actually, I like to do sport, even volleyball, even though it usually just messes up my fingers. But basically, this is me. I work. I'm a family man. I used to study a lot, and now basically I work 12 hours a day plus or minus because I have a YouTube channel as well, and that takes up a lot of my time. And how we met? Well, actually, a lot of my subscribers just started sending me your videos and sending me basically you. They're saying, here, get in contact with him, do an interview with him. I tried to get in contact with you, I was unsuccessful, and then I basically told my subscribers over Telegram, I said, hey, listen, some of you wanted me to do an interview with Arend here, so how about you just go onto his video, and I shared a link to your video and just put lots of comments, just overload with comments that I'm
I got a whole bunch of them, emails, comments. Yeah, you guys talk to this guy. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. What are you talking about?
And then Joseph there helped me out, and he actually put us in contact as well. And then you emailed me too. So that's how this whole conversation happened, basically, because of that.
Yeah, the first few comments, there was no link or nothing. It just had your name. I'm like, well, I don't know who this guy is. So, yeah. How old were you when you moved to Canada? Was Canada first or States first?
No, it was actually Europe first. It was Malta first, and then it was Canada, and then the US. So I was turning 12 when we landed in Canada. I was either 11 or I had just turned 12.
Okay. And whereabouts in Canada did you land?
Montreal. Like
Montreal.
Many. See, Quebec had an easier immigration policy, from what I can remember my parents telling me.
Interesting.
Yeah, than the majority of other Canadian provinces. So, plus Montreal had a large Russian-speaking population, and we had our not relatives. We had our very, very distant family acquaintances living there who were telling us all the good things about moving to Canada. Of course, I was a kid. I had no idea. I didn't know anything. I was just here. We're moving to Canada. There you go. I just remembered being pulled out of my own what I was used to, and I was used to spending time in Europe and in Malta, spending time in Russia, and all of a sudden I'm on the other side of the planet. I don't really know anyone. I had depression. I was used to being able to take my bicycle and basically go anywhere, or my rollerblades and go anywhere, because it was relatively safe. Kind of the same thing in Canada at the time in Montreal, but still the distances were different. The public transportation was different. Everything was different.
I heard that from a lot of people that it comes,
And for
everything's far apart.
Yeah, and for a kid who's like 11, 12 years old, I mean, I don't know how to get around on my own. This is all entirely new for me. Obviously, my parents were very busy being parents and doing all the legal stuff. So I think that in my opinion, and I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I believe that most families go through the same thing when they immigrate. So
Interesting.
yeah.
We came from the Netherlands. I was 4 years old when I came, the youngest of 10 children. Yeah, I don't remember any I mean, I don't remember anything really before 4 or 5 years old. Anyway, I have like 2 memories from the Netherlands, so it was just normal for me. I don't remember learning the language. Just, I went to school at some point and I had to learn, and that's best time to move. My older brother would have been different. He had more issues. He was 17 at the time, so there's different thoughts at different ages, I guess. Yeah.
No, for sure.
You moved out to Western Canada as well?
No, I've only been to BC once for work. It was a couple of days, and the weather prevented me from seeing Vancouver at all. I mean, I just saw what was in front of me. That's it.
Really?
Maybe 100 meters.
I thought for some reason you spent time in Alberta.
No, I've never been to Alberta.
Your extended family, you came with your parents to Canada. Are they still in the States or in Canada, or did they come back as well? Or
no, everyone's here. I was the last one to leave.
Everyone.
Yeah, I was there, and I was the last one to stay. Yeah, everyone's here.
So there's no family members over there to think you're crazy for coming back?
No, there's only some close friends that maybe 1 or 2 of them think I'm mildly nuts for doing so, but otherwise, most of them understand why. I mean, they've been here. They went to Sochi, they went to St. Petersburg, they went to a whole bunch of other places, and they've seen it. They're like, wow, this is completely different than what we've told. And there are people from some Russian cities, some Belarusian cities, basically people from the former Soviet Union.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So that's good. Because some people do. Obviously, we had that leaving. Some people thought we were very, very crazy. Some of them have come around. Actually, even just through the comments, reading through the comments, has changed their opinion on Russian people, which I thought was interesting. It's we're hoping with the videos to continue to do that, but it wasn't the video that did it. It was the comments in the bottom. It was the Russian people themselves that changed some of these minds.
Well, I mean, I am pretty sure that most people in the West who succumb to Western mainstream media and the narrative, they think that Russians are little devils with horns from the Middle Ages who hate every single Westerner that comes by, which is not the fact. In fact, we have way too many people that seem to have idolized everything that has come from the West, and to the detriment of our own. Like, it's fine if Canada says, Petro-Canada is the best gas station in Canada. It's perfectly fine. It's normal. You should be telling Canadians that our brands are the best. They're for us. They're the best. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And the same thing is Russian brands. It's perfectly normal if Russian brands do the same thing for Russians. Say, hey, we have the best this. We have the best that. That's normal. But unfortunately, for one reason or another, for many years, it's not just like 30 years, it's hundreds of years. For Russians, for some reason, have always idolized the West. They believe that everything good is there and everything bad is here. Now, that has been changing recently. I welcome the change because it's not good for your own people to actually believe in something that doesn't really exist,
Absolutely.
in my opinion. So it has been changing, but yeah.
I think that was an excellent strategy. I don't think it was done by accident, by the West, through Hollywood, through the music industry, through TV, to get that out here. Like, if you go to the Netherlands, I remember going as a child back on a holiday and we were watching movies. I was watching them in English because they didn't have a film industry, so they were watching Hollywood movies. And so that gets that propaganda into everybody's home. You want to watch some of the greatest movies that produced over there. Stopping the flow of movies, TVs, music from the West. Because it's got all this messaging in here that I think falsely promotes the West as better. You need to develop your own industries here. And I'm actually happy to see that now with food as well, too. You have more companies producing products here as opposed to importing everything from the West. Hey, guys, just a quick reminder, too, to please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate every single one of you and try our best to read all of your comments. So drop your comments down there below as well. And just help us continue to grow this channel. We really appreciate all of you.
Well, I mean, as far as TV goes, Hollywood and songs, I mean, there are certain words that are not allowed to be in songs that are played on public radio. Okay. Certain swear words, etc., which I'm perfectly fine with. It makes sense. When at those same radio stations, when they play some American rap music, for example, and they don't actually silent out all the swear words, I'm thinking, so you're telling me that you're not going to allow Russian swearing here and there, but you're going to allow the song that basically in it, the lyrics promote the filthiest possible way of living for a woman and the filthiest most possible way of living for a man, with swearing and everything, and you're going to actively play it and allow it. So essentially, in my opinion, is that kind of music should be listened to and ridiculed at the same time. It's not like listen to it and idolized. We should be able to listen to it and see, well, they're promoting these kinds of values that are bad. They're not good. Yep. They're wrong. So in this case,
it was a big contributor to the downfall of the West, of the family. Even as commercials, we used to see that as commercials. Okay, there's a man fumbling with a drill, and he's a complete klutz, and he can't get it, and his wife comes along, grabs the drill, and gets it, no problem, right? And whatever, it's funny. But you see it over and over and over. You're teaching the child that the man is complete useless, and he's dumb. And if it wasn't for that woman, that whole household would fall apart. And I can think of countless cartoons that are the exact same sentiment, right? Simpsons would be one of them.
Yeah, Family Guy is another one.
Yeah. So we don't have TV now. When I was younger, I watched a lot of it, but it's the same. It's that messaging that always goes. It's just not good. It's toxic. So, yeah. And so, how long have you been back here now? And how well were you received coming back? Did anybody see? I've heard there's kind of a mentality that a lot of these Russians that had left are now coming back, and are not always thought of it as kindly. I guess they kind of see that you took off on them back when they needed you the most. So, how did that go?
Well, first of all, I've been here for 4.5 years now. Okay. We arrived 19th of May, 2019. Regarding of how well I was received, if we're talking about the regular, everyday Russian who had no idea who I am, well, basically, when I landed, I don't have an accent when I speak in Russian. But because I had very little experience living here as an adult, and very little experience with the financial services and how everything basically works, they looked at me like I was, in the lightest of words, retarded, because they could see a Russian, they could hear a Russian, but it's like this person fell off the moon. He has no idea
what he's doing.
Exactly. Like if you go to one of these areas and you're like, they obviously like, okay, this guy came from another country. He doesn't know how this works. Let me help you out. For me, it's more like, wrong with you. Where have you been?
You should know this stuff.
Exactly. So I felt this way for the beginning of maybe a year and a half.
Oh, that's good. So I know a number of Russians that grew up here or grew up in the former Soviet states somewhere that are interested in coming back now. So it's an interesting subject to see how well they would be received by their own people. So were you shocked by anything? You grew up there. You came back. Obviously, some of the culture and stuff was different. You said the language is the same. But was there anything that you came to that you weren't prepared for, that you were shocked with? Well, not Montreal versus here, states versus here.
As far as shock, a healthcare system, just the ability to have to go to a private clinic or to go to a public clinic, and I don't have to wait between 6 to 16 hours. Yeah. The ability to have something actually be resolved as quickly as possible, and it's the way doctors here, at least in my experience, how they think. It's more they're more creative. It's not more like, well, in this book it says you have to take this and everything will be solved, when in fact that's not. It just basically helps alleviate the pain. It doesn't help solve the root of the problem. Here they give you a spectrum of different ways. If they give you antibiotics, they give you probiotics. If they give you some kind of medicine for X bacteria, they will give you other medicines that will help lower effects from that medicine, and then perhaps help in another way. They treat you in these different stages, even though like some people say, well, private healthcare is meant to like basically bankrupt you and meant to take money. But I've been in numerous situations where private clinics where I could see somebody has been in business for a long time and has been in sales for a long time. I see opportunities that these clinics have while I'm there to take as much money from me as possible, and yet they don't. For example, I came in to do some checkups on my stomach, and they said you have to do these tests and bring them to us. They didn't say you have to do it in our clinic. They said you can do it whatever you want them to do it. You can do it in another clinic, which can be a competitor. You can do it in a government clinic. We don't care. Just bring these results to us so we can give you the proper treatment if you want to go ahead and do it with us. So if it was the opposite, where they just wanted to steal all my money and bankrupt me, they would say, no, You have to take these results in our clinic because we only trust our results and our doctors and nurses to do so. But that's not the case. They always tell us, do wherever you want, just go get them done and bring us the results, and then we can move from there.
A lot of people say the same government's been in power here for the last 30 years, and I say, well, maybe it's fair, maybe it's not fair, but I see this country heading in a good direction, and I like it. And that same government can stay in for another 30 years if this continues. Would you agree with that sentiment, or why do you think it's changed so much in 30 years?
Well, first, I don't agree that something has to be changed for the sake of change. Something has to be changed when something is broken. Not because something. That's my opinion. And I mean, even Reagan.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. We only have a few minutes left. I know you're busy and you got to get going here. So, 2 more questions. Where do you think Russia's going to be in another 5-10 years? Spiritually, culturally, economically? Where do you see it going?
Well, I mean, if we don't make any wrong decisions, or if we make very little amount of wrong decisions, then we're probably going to be heading in a very positive way for the following reasons, or in a positive direction for the following reasons. One, we understand, I understand that power, economic power and political power is shifting from the west to the east. Not necessarily to Russia, but to the east. I'm talking about Asia.
Yep.
So in this case, Russia is geopolitically very well positioned to be a very good partner for a variety of different countries out in Asia. Not only that, is that Russia historically has been trying to have very good ties with Latin America, with Africa, with the Middle East. Basically, with anyone who wants to be friends with us, we can be friends with them. But the current situation of sanctions, what it has done is that it's forced Western companies who are competitors to our own companies to basically leave the market. Now, they left the market, not all of them, a minority of them. And what they've done was they've left demand. So supply has gone, demand has stayed, and this is not the time of the Soviet Union. We're getting all of our products anyway. Even from companies that have left, we're still getting their products. The only thing that they have done is they've shot themselves in the foot by basically pissing off a whole bunch of Russians, saying, well, hold on a second. When Israel does this, you don't seem to leave Israel. When America does it to Iraq and Libya, you don't really care. You still conduct your business there. But now Russia's doing something, and all of a sudden you find it to be immoral for whatever reason, and you decide to boycott. So basically what they've done is they've left demand. We already found supply, and it's either Asian companies and Middle Eastern companies or local companies. So Russians are not suffering from this. The sanctions do have an effect, obviously. It's making business more difficult than before. But still, basically, we either have our own manufacturing now, in some areas, in some cases, like with airplanes, for example. This is something that we're reviving again. Or we have other companies who are coming in, like lots of these Chinese car companies that are now producing actual good products. So we're poised, if we don't do anything, if we don't make a lot of mistakes, we're poised to actually become stronger and bigger and better than what we are now. Just basically by being open to trade with as many countries as possible.
Just knocked Germany out of 5th place, so that was during sanctions.
Yeah, by GDP, PPP, purchasing power parity, we did knock them out. And
during sanctions, so I think that's it's kind of ironic, right? That what was designed to destroy it is actually making it stronger. Makes sense. Yep. Okay, last question. I know you got to get going. What's the biggest piece of advice you can give? In short, biggest piece of advice to either former Russians coming back or people who've never been here that are interested in coming?
Really consider what you're about to do. Weigh all of your options. Take into consideration your work experience is not just you moving. It's also paperwork. It's understanding the culture. It's getting used to the culture. It's how to immerse yourself in the culture. And
it's a process too. Right? It takes a long time. So.
And if you move as a family, that gives you additional potential issues. So you really have to consider all the potential factors, all the potential problems, and also the potential benefits. Really weigh them and make a very educated decision so that you can arrive in the country that you want to be in. You can be a contributing member. You can be a positive influence on everyone around you. That would be my advice, is really weigh everything and see and have a vision and look ahead. Don't look 1 year ahead. Look 5, 10, 20, 30 years ahead.
All right. I want to thank you for taking time to speak to us. I encourage everybody to look down below. I'll drop your YouTube link down there as well. And look forward to meeting sometime.
Okay, perfect. Me too. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Ciao.
All right, guys, now that you've had a chance to watch that video, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Once again, drop your comments down there. I will try to read them. Do you guys like these interview style videos? This would be the second one we've done now. Unfortunately, in this one, I had a terrible neck pain and headache, so I'm not sure if I looked overly awake, but it was a very interesting interview. Very interesting man to interview. And we have a few other ones planned as well. There's some more Westerners that I run into from time to time that are here in Russia, and what are they doing here? So yeah, it's kind of interesting to interview. We had talked about maybe setting it up on a different channel because we are primarily dedicated to family and farming, and the interviews is not really part of that, but it is an interesting subject for some people. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Would you like to see a second channel, a dva channel? I don't know what channel is, or you know, would you even are you interested in interviews? Maybe you don't like interviews. Maybe it's something we should stop doing, or would you like to continue to see them on this channel? So let me know. Some options there. Love to hear your feedback. As always, we wish you guys the best. We really appreciate the support, and we'll catch you in another video. God bless you.
Hey, darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car.